Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, March 13th, and today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds, TSLY, CONY, and MSTY, as usual. Also, at the end, I will update the outstanding shares for YMAX and YMAG to see how much my new estimate comes to, because today is declaration date for those funds. So we'll take a look together. I didn't update it yet. I'll pull up the website. I'll get the shares and we'll plug it in at the end. So anyway, let's get moving. First up is everyone's favorite CONY, but they did not have a trade yesterday, so this should be rather basic. So this is the synthetic position. It's a 250 strike. Currently, coin is above their synthetic, so they could make 11.4 million if they do decide to roll it. However, they're not going to roll it until they're typically well above, that price, or if it gets closer to expiration. So, nothing going on here. Let's look at the March tab to see the change in price from yesterday. So coin went up 0.78%. CONY went up 1.28%. I mean, I'll take it. No additions, nothing new yesterday. But there is negative cash. So they took cash and they moved it to the new government money market. They apparently took more cash than what they ended up with for the day. So if you look, the cash is negative 4.3. The change for the day is negative 4.8. So, I mean, basically it looks like a lot of people sold out of the fund, but maybe in the morning they they moved the cash to the money market, not realizing they left it at essentially zero, which means if anyone sold, it became negative. Again, I don't know this, but this is just my guess. But I guess it really doesn't matter. But hopefully more people buy back in. Outstanding shares, 14,075,000. Short call income is at a loss for the month, because as you can see in the beginning of the month, one of the calls cost them $20 million. So they're not. It's going to take a ways to catch up to that. Active tab for the week. We have 3 trading days because, again, today is Wednesday morning. It's 15,760 contracts with a 295 strike. That's 15.17% out of the money. That might actually be safe. Coin price is 256.14. 30-day IV is 94%. CONY price 27.65, and they have potential to gain $4.19, which will put them back over $30. CONY fund manager, kind of just grinding their teeth, like, okay, we got this. I think, maybe, who knows? It's crypto. Payment information, synthetic income is, again, they have 85 million in synthetic income, 18 million in losses from the short call income. Net 67 million, and I'm showing a payment of 480. If they had to pay something today, that's what would, if they paid out everything, which they wouldn't. Outstanding holdings, their short calls looking good. It will only cost them 111 to close as of today, and when they opened it, they made $4.36. Total net asset value of the fund, 389.3 million. And what do we got? NAV is 27.67 and trade price is 27.65. Pre-market, if I could refresh here. Pre-market. Okay, pre-market, it's down 1.03%. It's at 253.50, but keep in mind it's not even 4 a.m. At the moment, so a lot can change. All right, let's take a look at TSLY. They did have a trade, actually. So if you see here, you see 3 transactions. Typically, that's adding to the synthetic, selling a weekly. But in this case, it's the reverse. They're removing a synthetic and then removing a weekly. Typically, they would have to do this if people are selling their shares to get out of the fund, because again, they're not going to have the money to support the contracts that are there. So obviously, what did they do? They sold 1,000 contracts. So they sold their call, and then they did a BC, buy to close the put. And as you can see, they did it on the 220 synthetic, which is very costly. They got essentially nothing for the call because no one wants it. So they got a penny. And then for the put, they had to pay out a lot, $40.91. The position that they closed is the 187.50. That only cost them 65 cents to close. So, their weekly position is doing good, but their synthetic situation, as we knew, is not sitting pretty. So let's take a look at it though. So their synthetic March 12th was, obviously they removed 1,000 contracts. They closed the call. They sold the call. They only got $1,000, and they had to pay money to close the put for 1,000 contracts, $40.91 per share, or $4 million. So that puts us currently for March, we're at a debit of $4 million. The rest of it, as of today, would have cost, $124 million, which obviously that's a lot of money. 185. Okay, hopefully that didn't screw up my video. That's my alarm. Obviously, I always forget to turn it off if I start this video before 4 a.m. The 185 is, losing my train of thought now. The 185 is, kind of in danger. Again, these synthetics expire Friday, as do the short calls. So this is a very, very important week for TSLY. However, the only chance they have is the 185 synthetic. So if somehow Tesla can get above 185 by the end of the week, they can actually make a profit on this. But as of right now, they're not, because Tesla's at 177.54, which is, still pretty decently below the 185, but it would cost $9.2 million to close out this synthetic. Let's take a look at March. And for yesterday, how did Tesla do? Tesla, it went down by 0.13%. TSLY went up by 0.37%. Cash and treasuries, cash went down, treasuries kind of stayed the same, and it looks like they added to the government money market. But overall, cash and treasuries actually went down by 8.6 million. So I think yesterday, it looks like people sold out of TSLY and CONY. Outstanding shares, 44,950,000. Short call income, they're actually making money so far, 9.2 million. I didn't cover the 1,000 contracts they closed, sorry. So yeah, the 1,000 contracts that they were forced to close, although on the synthetic part, it hurt them. On the weekly part, it did not, because they only paid 65 cents to close that, and they got 222 when they opened it. So in the end, that little position was a profit of 157,000. So that's not bad. So if they were forced to close out more contracts, at least for the weekly part, they would be in a profit. So, if you're going to look at a plus here. Yeah, we said short call income, 9.2 million. Total distribution, 20 cents per share. Daily income, 3 cents a day. And daily yield, 0.21%. Active tab, how we doing for this week? Well, again, 3 trading days. We have 20,480 contracts. Again, I had to subtract out 1,000 of those. 187.50, that's 5.61% out of the money. And then 21,480 contracts with a 183.33 strike. That's 3.26% out of the money. And again, the reason for that funky strike price is because this was like way back when they did the stock split on Tesla. That caused some of the contracts that were already dated so far out in advance to look a little different, dividing by how many, obviously, shares they had to split. So this might be the last remaining weird contract out there. Tesla price is 177.54. 30-day IV is 47.42%. 30-day charts, ugly as usual. TSLY price is 16.21, and I'm showing a potential gain of 71 cents, which would not even put us above 17 bucks. Reaction is more like meh, little meh. You know, it's just like same old crap. You know, we're just like waiting. You know, we're waiting for something good to happen. It could be at earnings. It could be before earnings, or earnings could be worse. You never know. We could go down even more. Who knows? Curve, same thing, man. Nothing going on with Curve. So, 100 again. I'll keep tracking it for now, but it's 100 contracts, 230 strike. It's now 29.55% out of the money. But these expire April 19th, as does their synthetic. But their synthetic is 265, which it don't look like they're hitting that. Payment information. Again, that $4 million added to the synthetic loss. So, you know, although they made $9.2 million in short call weekly income, that's their net income is now only $5.1 million, which drops them to total income per share of 11 cents. If you look at just the weekly income, the short call income, it's 20 cents. All right, outstanding holdings. Again, in pink, this is the damage to expect soon. Right now, we're looking at about $135,000. Oh my God, $135 million in total loss that they would have to pay for this stupid put for the two synthetics. But again, if Tesla has any type of recovery, that could help. So they may just wait until Friday and hope for the best. That way, you know, to minimize the damage. And then obviously they'll roll both of these probably into one synthetic, closer to the range it's at now, maybe the 180 range, whatever it ends up being. Obviously, we have the two calls, which are, you know, they're sitting okay. They're highlighted in blue. Total net asset value is $728 million. Again, it's a clear struggle to ever hit that 1 billion mark. But the NAV is $16.21, and the trade price is exactly that. So, wow. Right on the money. All right, let's go to pre-market. Pre-market Tesla is green, but again, not by much. Again, Tesla has been a boring stock as of late. Not much IV, not much movement either way. And it seems to, you know, in the end, inch down, you know, downwards just a little. But hopefully, again, by Friday, we're hoping for a little recovery. And we can afford it with the weekly calls, and the synthetic surely needs it to avoid any more damage. So we'll see how that goes. All right, MSTY. MSTY had a trade. So what did they do? Well, 3 transactions. So in this one, people weren't selling out. People actually bought in. So a lot of people, 50 contracts worth. So they added to their same synthetic, the 950. And look, buy call, $598 per share. Like, insane. And I'll show you in a second. Sell put, $1. Whooping freaking $1. You got $1 credit. Whoop-de-doo. And then they sold a call that expires Friday. So 3 trading days on that. And they still made $45 per share. So that's pretty good income. Anyway, let's move on. So the synthetic 950 is still open. And real quick, I went on, the coach interviewed Jay yesterday. And I did type in a question, and Jay, coach actually got to it, and Jay answered it. I wanted to like put a snip and video that and put it in this video, but obviously I didn't get to it. But either way, I asked why they did not, why they're not selling, you know, synthetics out 6 months to a year, anymore. And he actually had a reason, but I didn't get to like go back and listen to it at the time. I was trying to listen to it live, and my kids were just screaming, and I couldn't really hear anything. But I do know the question was asked, so I'm gonna go back and listen to it. But I appreciate Coach for asking the question, and I just want to say shout out to Coach. From what I saw, it was a pretty good interview. And he does a decent job with the interviews. I know people knock him and say, he could do better or want someone else, but guys, he's interviewing a fund manager of a huge fund, and he's doing it live. So we got to give credit where credit is due. That is not easy. So shout out to Coach and his YouTube channel, THB Finance, I believe it's called, if you wanted to check him out. So anyway, plus the interview will be in my Discord. People have shared it, so if you want to check it out. So anyway, let's take a look at this 50 contract. So I'm not going to, again, I won't harp on Jay until I get to see that interview on why they can't do synthetics further out. There's some type of reasoning. Obviously, like I said, I'll go back, or you can go back and let me know. 50 contracts was added, and look how much it cost them. 2.9, almost $3 million, right? To add to a synthetic position. $3 million to add to a synthetic position. So setting up this synthetic position have cost them $4.2 million. The synthetic position is really just shouldn't really cost anything, right? It should be a wash, or if anything, it should be, little money here and there, because the buy call could be greater than the put. But in this example, the buy call ate the put like 598 times. So it's very damaging. I mean, in fact, if they rolled it today, they would make 10 million, which is, half of the profits already eaten up. So that's crazy. So I don't know. Even if, that doesn't, even though they can't go out 6 months to a year, that doesn't give an excuse on why they're not rolling this out a month. They could roll it out a month. Are they scared that MSTR is just going to tank and they're going to be underwater? Maybe, and that could happen. But look what's happening in the meantime. Like, this isn't good either. So maybe they should adjust their prospectus to say we can create a synthetic position, maybe at a lower, I don't know, a lower strike. Is that good? I don't know. Either way, it's not good. If they keep adding to this position, it's just going to keep eating and adding debits. But I don't know. That's my opinion. Again, I'm new to synthetics overall, but this is, I'm trying to gather the best strategy here. You just give my opinion that nobody wants. All right. And anyway, MSTR, another freaking green day. It's up 7.35%. Unbelievable. MSTY, it was up 4.18%. So, wow. Here's the 50 contracts. They chose a 1700 strike. Again, they got 45.64 per share. And 1700 is only 6.69% out of the money. Again, this expires Friday. 3 trading days, and they chose 6.69% out of the money. So that's essentially allowing a 2% cushion per day. All right. Yesterday, although only 2 contracts, yesterday they chose 1900. And that was 28% out of the money with 4 trading days, which that's a cushion of 7% per day. So they went from 7% cushion to 2% cushion. So obviously there was a little change in the thought of where MSTR is headed, maybe, or maybe they just, I don't know, maybe they got greedy. But I would have rather they gotten greedy on the 2 contracts versus the 50, although I don't even own MSTY, but I'm speaking for the, as if I did. Anyway, let's move on. So they made $228,000 yesterday on that call. Cash and treasuries, cash went up, treasuries stayed still, and money market went up. So overall, MSTY, CONY and TSLY, not so much. MSTY is gaining popularity. So cash and treasuries went up 1.8 million. Outstanding shares, we're up to 650,000. We're going to hit that $1 million mark, million shares mark soon. Short call income is a debit. So yes, they're not making money on the weekly income. And they're also not making money on the synthetic yet. All right, but let's take a look at the strikes for this week. All right, we have 105 contracts. This is most of them. 1,620 strike, 1.67% out of the money. Yes, danger. Okay, this one is absolutely in danger. 50 contracts, 1,700 strike. That's 6.69% out of the money. That one, they just opened, but again, to me, that's in danger. This is a crypto stock and a crypto bull run, and who the hell knows? And then we have 2 contracts with a 1,900 strike, 19.25% out of the money. This one, I wouldn't worry about, but it's only 2 contracts, so what good is it? All right, 30-day IV, 156%. Damn. MSTR price, 1,593.35. MSTY price, 37.12. I mean, what more can you say? Potential gains for the week, 130, which it won't put them over 40, but they're getting close. TSLY fund manager was like kind of worried yesterday, and rightfully so, because now the majority of their contracts, they're 1% away from getting like beat up. So we'll see. It's not, we want to make money on the weeklies too, guys, not just the synthetic, but even the synthetic is, not making money. Right now it's at a loss of 2.9 million. Wait a second. 2.9, because this is the 680. Okay, we had a 1.3 million credit from the 680, and then we have a 4.2 debit. Okay, so this should have 2 formulas. Yep. Okay. So yeah, for the synthetic, it's a debit of 2.9 million. Short call income debit 83,000. Net income loss, I should say, is 3 million. Outstanding shares 650,000. So we owe them 469 per share. But if they ever roll this one, that'll create a 10 million credit as of today. So obviously that would switch things around. That'll flip it to a $7 million income. So again, not to worry, MSTY people. All right, so we have the 3 calls, all in danger. So not really, we already covered that. Nothing really further to talk about there. Net asset value, though, is at 24.2 million. The NAV is at 37.24, and the trade price is at 37.12. Close enough, right? And then let's go to the pre-market. I didn't pull them up. It's been a very interesting morning. I'll get into that in another day. But all right, so MicroStrategy. Oh my God, look at this thing. It's up 3.78% in the pre-market. So yeah, bye bye 1% out of the money. Again, it's pre-market. I know. So we'll see. Time will tell. All right, so that's the summary on YieldMax funds, TSLY, CONY, and MSTY. Now let's get into the YMAX estimate. So obviously I made a video estimating how much is going to get paid. And for YMAX, I came up to 79 cents. And YMAG, I came up to 82 cents. However, the outstanding shares were, different. People had time to buy into the funds and qualify for the distribution. The payment amount, however, was locked, right? Whatever YMAX owned for each fund as of the covered call ETF dates, like the TSLY, CONY, those, that X date, whatever they own prior to that X date is what it is. So the green number, the payment number, that's locked in. That doesn't change. The outstanding shares, YMAX has their own declaration date. They have their own, ex-dividend date. So today is declaration date. And since they declare it in the morning, my thinking is whatever the outstanding shares show as of this morning, which is, again, as of the close yesterday, that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to plug in the new outstanding shares. So where do we get that? Well, we go to their website. We go to YieldMax, YMAX, and then we scroll all the way down, and we go to the outstanding holdings. And sure enough, it's huge. This fund is gigantic. But just look. So we have, shares outstanding, which we could just do this, right? We could just copy it. And then we go back. And then, so obviously we look, right now we have 2.975. And it's jumping to 3.7. That's a pretty big jump. So we went to 64 cents from 79 cents. So that's kind of I guess a letdown for people. So we went from 79 cents and 43% yield to 64 cents and 34% yield. It's still good. It's not the same as the 40% range, but 34% yield is still pretty damn good. So let's look at YMAG. YMAG is, I'm going to guess it's not as popular, clearly, as YMAX. YMAX is a very popular fund from what I can hear. I always get, good feedback on the YMAG. All right, I'm not even going to try to click that. I don't know why it's a hyperlink. But the shares outstanding clearly show that it's 1.2 million. Again, YMAG is the Magnificent Seven. So we had 1 million, so we'll just make that 1.2 million. Okay, so we are at 68 cents. Okay, what were we? We were 82 cents or 47% yield. Now we're at 68 cents or a 39% yield. So in both cases, both funds were, at least this is what I showed, which is not 100% accurate. This is my guesstimate. Both funds were above 40%, but now they're yielding in the 30% range based on my estimate. So in summary, YMAX payment will be 64 cents or a 34.84% yield. YMAG will be 68 cents or a 39.53% yield, okay? So we'll see. They'll probably declare it this morning. We'll go from there. And then I'll plug in the numbers, see how we did, if anyone cares, of course. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, I think these, if you want to take advantage of high yielding funds and, the individual underlying is just too much, these are probably your best option because it's just good. It's just very diversified. The one thing I don't like about YMAG is this is it. Yes, they're all safe companies. Yes, they're all big companies. But YMAX is going to be very diversified as YieldMax continues to grow and add additional funds. So yeah, again, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's the video. As always, guys, this is never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is just for fun and entertainment. So that's all I can provide, entertainment. No screaming child right now, obviously, because it's still 4 a.m. In the garage making this video because it's an office day. Well, it may be an office day. I have to see. Which again, we'll talk about tomorrow or such. But what was I going to say? Yeah, if you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button. It helps the channel, helps it a lot. Yeah, and FYI, like I said, Coach did the interview live last night with Jay Prestercelli, and I think he did a good job. He asked decent questions. I didn't get to listen to the whole thing, but I'll try to on the way to work. And then tomorrow I'm set up. I'm not gonna go live because this is all new to me. But I have an interview set up. With the Defiance CEO. So that's Sylvia. But we'll see how that goes. And then, obviously I'll post it if all is good, and then we'll go from there. But all right, let me go. Let me get ready for work. And I hope everyone has a great day. Later.